3:17 in the morning. I know because I looked at the clock on my dashboard right before everything changed. 3:17 a.m. on a Wednesday in November. Cold. Dark. The kind of night where the city feels empty even though you know millions of people are sleeping just beyond the streetlights. I've been driving Uber for 5 years now, night shift exclusively, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., 5 nights a week, sometimes 6 when the bills pile up. You see things during those hours. Things you don't see during the day. Drunk college kids stumbling out of bars, nurses in scrubs heading to or from shifts at the hospital, couples arguing in hushed voices, people crying in the back seat who pretend they're not, workers going to jobs that start before sunrise, others coming home from jobs that never end. I thought I'd seen everything the night shift had to offer. I was wrong. During the day, during the afternoon, after I sleep, I work at a warehouse in the industrial district. 4-hour shifts, 4 days a week, loading boxes onto trucks, unloading pallets, moving things from point A to point B. Repeat until the shift ends. Between the 2 jobs, I make enough to cover rent, utilities, car insurance, student loans, and groceries. Just enough. Something extra. Some few savings. But my life wasn't supposed to be this way. 10 years ago, I had a band. Westbound. That's what we called ourselves. 4 guys who met at community college and discovered we could make something bigger than the sum of our parts. Kevin Cross on bass, Gabriel Diaz on drums, Logan Bennett on keyboards, me on guitar and vocals. We played clubs around the city, dive bars, coffee shops, anywhere that would let us set up our equipment and play. We wrote original songs, had a small but dedicated following, people who actually came to see us, who knew our lyrics, who bought our CDs. We weren't famous. We weren't making money, but we were making music. Real music. The kind that comes from somewhere deep inside you. For 4 years, that was my life. During the day, I worked whatever job would pay me. Retail, restaurants, temp agencies. At night, I played music. I was happy. Broke, exhausted, eating ramen 5 nights a week, but happy. Then I turned 29, and suddenly everyone was asking the same questions. What's your plan? Are you still doing the band thing? When are you going to get a real job? Don't you think it's time to grow up? My parents, my friends from high school who had real careers, my girlfriend at the time who wanted to know if we had a future together. The band started feeling the pressure too. Kevin got a job offer in Seattle, good money, benefits. He took it. Gabriel got married, had a kid. Priorities shifted. Logan went back to school for engineering. And me? I was lost without the band. I knew I could continue trying, but what was the point? It was never going to happen. I gave up. I had a business degree, but no real experience or knowledge of what to do with it after so many years. I finished school only because it was my parents' dream, but it was never my plan to get a career in the area. So I got a warehouse job, started driving Uber at night for extra money, told myself it was temporary, just until I saved some money, just until I figured out my next move. That was 5 years ago. I put my guitar under my bed and told myself I'd get back to it soon. I haven't touched it since. Have you ever felt like you're living the wrong life? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories about mysterious encounters, second chances, and moments that change everything, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss our next story. November 13th, Tuesday night, bleeding into Wednesday morning. My driving shift started at 11. That's my schedule now. Sleep during the day. Work during the night. Exist in the margins of everyone else's life. The first few hours were typical. A 22-year-old heading home from her shift at a restaurant. An older man going to the airport for an early flight. 2 women leaving a bar, giggling about something I didn't catch. By 2 a.m., things had slowed down. That's normal. There's a dead zone between 2 and 4. After the bars close, but before the early workers start moving, I parked near the university and scrolled through my phone while I waited for the next ping. That's when I saw it. A post from Kevin Cross, my old bassist, the one who moved to Seattle. The post was a photo, Kevin holding a vinyl record. His face lit up with that smile I remembered. The caption, "Dreams do come true. Album drops December 15th. Small tour in January." Thank you to everyone who believed. This is just the beginning. I stared at that post for a long time. Kevin had done it. Signed with an indie label. Recorded an album. Was going on tour. He'd made it. I was happy for him. I really was. Kevin was talented, kind. He deserved success. But God, it hurt. Because Kevin was my friend, my bandmate. We'd started this journey together, and he'd reached the destination while I'd given up halfway. I guess he continued to pursue music in his free time in Seattle. I clicked to his profile, saw more posts, studio photos, photos with the label executives, photos with other musicians I vaguely recognized from the scene. A whole life, a music life, the life I'd wanted, the life I'd convinced myself wasn't realistic. I put my phone down, closed my eyes, felt that familiar ache in my chest. It's not jealousy, or maybe it is. But it's more than that. It's regret. It's the ghost of who I could have been haunting who I actually became. I'm 34 years old. I load boxes and drive strangers around at 3 a.m. This is what I chose. My phone pinged. Ride request. I accepted it without looking. Needed the distraction. Needed to stop thinking. Pickup, 2847 Westmont Avenue. Passenger D. Martin. Destination, 1156 South River Drive. I started the car and drove. Westmont Avenue was in an old neighborhood on the east side, the kind of area that was nice in the 60s and 70s. Big yards, tree-lined streets, houses with front porches. Some of the houses had been renovated, fresh paint, new roofs, young families moving in. Others were falling apart, peeling paint, overgrown yards, elderly owners who couldn't keep up with maintenance. 2847 was somewhere in between. Small single-story house, white with blue trim that might have been cheerful once but now looked faded. Porch light on. Under the porch light stood a woman, elderly, 70s, maybe older. It was hard to tell in the dim light. She wore a tan coat that looked warm but not expensive. She carried a small brown purse. Her hair was gray, pulled back in a simple style. I pulled up to the curb, got out, walked around to open the back door for her. Mrs. Martin? Yes, dear. Thank you so much. Her voice was soft, gentle, the kind of voice that makes you think of grandmothers and homemade cookies and safety. She moved slowly, but steadily. I offered my arm. She took it, lowered herself into the back seat with a quiet sigh. Comfortable? I asked. Very much. You're very kind. I closed the door, walked back around, got in the driver's seat, checked the destination again. 1156 South River Drive. About 15 minutes away at this time of night. No traffic. All set, Mrs. Martin. Yes, thank you. I pulled away from the curb. For the first few minutes, we drove in silence. That's not unusual. A lot of passengers don't want to talk, especially at this hour. They're tired. They want to zone out. Look at their phones. Close their eyes. I was fine with that. I wasn't in the mood for small talk anyway. I glanced at her in the rearview mirror. She sat quietly, hands folded on her lap over her purse, looking out the window at the dark streets sliding past. There was something about her, not threatening, the opposite, calming, but also familiar? I couldn't place it. Sometimes older people have that effect. They remind you of someone, a teacher, a neighbor, someone you knew when you were young but can't quite remember. We stopped at a red light, empty intersection, just us and the streetlights. It's a quiet night, she said. I looked in the mirror. She was still looking out the window. Yeah, usually is around this time. You work these late hours often? Every night. Well, 5 nights a week. That must be tiring. It is, but it pays the bills. And during the day, do you work then too? I hesitated. Most passengers didn't ask personal questions. Yeah, afternoon shift at a warehouse. My goodness, 2 jobs. That's quite difficult. You do what you have to do. Yes, I suppose we all do. The light turned green. I drove. Another few blocks in silence. Then she said something that made my hands tighten on the steering wheel. "Do you still play music?" I looked at the rearview mirror, met her eyes. They were kind. Curious. "I'm sorry?" "Music. Do you still play?" My heart was beating faster. How do you know I played music?" She smiled. Small. Gentle. "You have the look." "The look?" "Yes. Musicians have a certain look about them. Creative, thoughtful, a little sad sometimes." I forced a laugh, tried to make it sound casual. "Yeah, well, I used to, long time ago." "What instrument?" "Guitar. And I sang, had a band." "How wonderful. What was the band called?" "Westbound." "That's a lovely name. Very evocative." "Thanks. Why did you stop?" The question hung in the air. Direct. Simple. Devastating. "Life," I said finally. "You know how it is. Dreams don't pay rent." A sound that suggested she understood but didn't necessarily agree. "That must have been difficult, giving up something you loved." "It was the right decision." "Was it?" I didn't answer that. We drove past a closed gas station, a dark park, a row of houses with only a few windows lit. "Do you miss it?" she asked. "Every day," I admitted. The words came out before I could stop them. I never talked about this, not with passengers, not with anyone, but something about her voice, about the darkness, about the early morning vulnerability made me honest. "I'm sorry," she said, genuinely. "That must be painful. Missing something every day but believing you can't have it." "Yeah, it is." We were about halfway to her destination now. Residential streets giving way to a more commercial area, closed shops, dark windows. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Sure." "What made you choose music?" "In the beginning?" I thought about that. I don't know if I chose it. It was just always there. I picked up a guitar when I was a kid and it felt right, like I was supposed to do this, like it made sense. That's beautiful. It felt that way, for a long time. And now? Now it feels like a mistake, like I wasted years chasing something impossible. Do you really believe that? I opened my mouth to say yes, to defend my decision, to explain that I'd been practical, responsible, adult, but I couldn't. "I don't know what I believe anymore," I said instead. She was quiet for a moment. Then, "You had a band, Westbound. What happened to them?" "We broke up. Everyone moved on, got real jobs, real lives." "And you felt you needed to do the same?" "Yeah." "But you don't have a real life now, do you?" The question hit like a punch. "I have a life." "Do you? Or do you have an existence? Working, sleeping, working again. No joy, no creation, no music." "That's not—" I stopped, because she was right. "I'm sorry," she said gently. "I don't mean to be harsh, I've lived a long time, and I've learned that the things we give up often haunt us more than the things we try and fail at." We were getting close to South River Drive now. I could see the street sign ahead. Something was nagging at me, about her voice, the way she spoke, the things she knew. "Have we met before?" I asked suddenly. In the mirror, I saw her smile. "Maybe. A long time ago." "Where?" "You were very young. You probably don't remember." "How young?" "Oh, 5, 6, small boy, big eyes, always curious." I tried to think back. 30 years ago. I was 4, 5, 6. We lived in a different house back then. Different neighborhood." "Were you a neighbor?" "Sometimes I watched you, when your parents needed help." My breath caught. "You were a babysitter?" "Occasionally. Your mother would call when she needed someone. I'd come over, we'd play games, read stories. You were a sweet child." "What was your name, back then?" "Debbie. You called me Debbie." And suddenly, like a dam breaking, it came back. Not everything, not clearly, but fragments. A woman, kind face, soft voice. She'd sit with me, play board games, make grilled cheese sandwiches cut into small triangles, read me books about dragons and space and adventures. "Debbie." "I remember you," I whispered. "Do you?" "You used to sing to me when I couldn't sleep. I did. You had a nice voice. Thank you, dear. But that was almost 30 years ago. Yes. What are you doing here? How did you end up in my car? I needed a ride. But I mean, is this a coincidence? Or did you... She didn't answer. Just smiled in that gentle way. We turned onto South River Drive. Can I tell you something, Anthony? Her voice was still gentle, not threatening, just certain. You're 34 years old. You work 2 jobs. You live alone in a small apartment on the north side. You eat frozen dinners and instant noodles because you don't have time to cook. You sleep during the day and work at night, and sometimes you wonder if this is all there is. How do you... You have a guitar under your bed, a Gibson acoustic. You bought it when you were 22 with your first real paycheck. You've written dozens of songs on it, but you haven't touched it in 2 years. I pulled over, abruptly, tires screeching slightly, put the car in park, turned around. She looked at me, and I saw it now, in the glow of the streetlight. Her face, older, weathered by time, but the eyes, the expression. You gave me a guitar, I said, memory flooding back. A toy guitar, red, 4 strings, for my birthday. Your 6th birthday, yes. I played it constantly, drove my parents crazy. You did, but you were so happy. And you had an ear for it. Even then, you'd hear a song on TV and play it back by ear, perfectly. Your mother thought you were a genius. She never said that. She said it to me, many times. Debbie, he's special. He has a gift. Then why did she spend the next 30 years telling me to get a real job? Debbie's expression softened, sad. Because she loved you, and she was scared. Parents get scared when their children choose difficult paths. Music isn't a path, it's a fantasy. Is it? She leaned forward slightly. Anthony, who told you that? Who convinced you that the thing you love most in the world isn't real, isn't valid, isn't worth pursuing? Everyone. And you believe them? I had to. I couldn't pay rent with songs. So you gave up. I grew up. Did you? Or did you just shrink? Become smaller? Quieter? More afraid? I was breathing hard now, hands gripping the steering wheel. This doesn't make sense. How are you here? How do you know all this about Mew Present? About my guitar, my apartment, my life? Does it matter how I know? Yes. Why? Because it's impossible. You were my babysitter 30 years ago. I haven't seen you since I was a kid. And now you're in my car at 3 in the morning telling me things about my life that no one knows. So yes, it matters. She was quiet for a moment. Then, what do you think is happening, Anthony? I don't know. Take a guess. You're, I don't know, stalking me? You researched me somehow? Do I seem like a stalker? No, but what else could I be? My mind raced, tried to find a rational explanation, but there wasn't one. Are you real? I asked finally. What do you think? I think I'm losing my mind. You're not. You're just exhausted and sad, and you've been carrying something heavy for a very long time. What am I carrying? Regret, grief, the death of who you were supposed to be. The words hit me like a physical blow. I felt tears, hot, unexpected. I don't know how to be that person anymore. Yes, you do. He's still there. You just buried him. Maybe he needed to be buried. Why? Because the world told you he wasn't good enough? Because you didn't become a rock star? Because you had to work regular jobs like everyone else? Because I failed. No. Her voice was firm now, strong. You gave up. That's different. It's the same thing. It's not. Failing means you tried everything and it didn't work. Giving up means you stopped before you ran out of options. We sat there, parked on the side of South River Drive, a few blocks from her destination, the city silent around us. Why are you here? I asked quietly. To remind you. Of what? Of who you are, who you've always been. Before the world got loud, before fear took over, before you decided that safe was better than true. I can't go back. I'm 34. I have bills, responsibilities. I'm not asking you to quit your jobs and move to LA and become famous. I'm asking you to stop pretending the music doesn't matter, to stop acting like it was just a phase, to honor the gift you have. What gift? I'm not special. I was never special. You were, you are. She reached forward, placed her hand on my shoulder. Her touch was light, warm, real. Do you know what my biggest regret is, Anthony? No. I wanted to sing. Opera. When I was young, I had a beautiful voice. People told me I could be something. Go to New York. Study. Perform. What happened? I got scared. My family said it was unrealistic. So I did the sensible thing, got married at 21, had children, took care of other people's children, and opera became something I used to want, then something I'd forgotten I wanted, then just nothing. I'm sorry. Don't be. I had a good life. I loved my children. I loved the children I cared for, like you. But Anthony? Her grip on my shoulder tightened slightly. At the end, when you're my age, you don't regret the things you tried and failed at. You regret the things you never tried, the songs you never sang, the chances you never took. It's too late. It's never too late. Not until you're gone. I don't even know where to start. Yes, you do. You go home. You take out that guitar. And you play. Just once. Just to remember what it feels like to be yourself. And then what? And then you decide. But decide from a place of truth. Not fear, not practicality, not what other people expect. Decide from the place where that 6-year-old boy still lives, the one with the red toy guitar who played like the whole world was listening. I wiped my eyes, took a shaky breath. I saw a post today, from Kevin, my old bassist. He signed with a label. He's releasing an album. And how did that make you feel? Like I'd missed my chance, like I'd made the wrong choice. Or maybe, she said softly, maybe it made you realize you still have time, that it's not too late, that your friend found his path and you can still find yours. What if I try and fail? What if you don't try and spend the rest of your life wondering? What if I'm not good enough? You are. You always were. I knew it when you were 6 years old. And time doesn't erase gifts, it only hides them. Under fear, under doubt, under other people's expectations. But they're still there. We sat in silence for a moment, then she settled back in her seat. I believe we have a destination to reach. I put the car in drive, drove the remaining blocks, 1156 South River Drive, small house, similar to where I'd picked her up, dark, no lights on, a for sale sign in the front yard. I pulled up to the curb, put the car in park. This is it, I said. Yes, thank you, Anthony. Wait. I turned around fully. Will I see you again? That depends. On what? On whether you choose courage or fear? I don't understand. You will. She reached for the door handle. Debbie, wait. I need to know. Are you real? Is this really happening? She smiled, that gentle, knowing smile. What do you think? I think I'm sitting in my car talking to someone who shouldn't be here. And yet, I am here. So maybe the question isn't whether I'm real. Maybe the question is, what are you going to do with what I've told you? I don't know. Yes, you do. I blinked, rubbed my eyes. 3:47 in the morning. I was exhausted. Maybe I was. I looked back at the seat. Empty. No Debbie. No elderly woman in a tan coat. Nothing. The door was closed. I would have heard it open and close. I would have seen her get out. But the seat was empty. I turned all the way around, stared at the empty back seat. What the hell? The seat was warm, like someone had just been sitting there, but no one was there now. I checked the rear-view mirror, the street behind me, empty. No one walking away, no one. Debbie? Silence. I got out of the car, looked around, up and down the street. Dark houses, no movement, no sound except the wind in the trees. Debbie? Nothing. I walked around my car, Checked all the doors, all locked except the back door she'd been in, but she was gone. I stood there on the empty street, breathing hard, heart pounding, then I saw it. On the back seat, right where she'd been sitting. A small object. I reached in, picked it up, a guitar pick, red plastic, worn, old. I knew this pick. I turned it over in my hand. On the back, written in faded black marker in handwriting I vaguely remembered. For Anthony. Keep playing. Debbie. This was from the toy guitar. The red one she'd given me when I was 6. I'd lost this pick 28 years ago. And now it was in my hand. Real. Solid. Impossible. My hands were shaking. I looked at the house. 1156 South River Drive. Walked up to the porch. Slow steps. Heart pounding. The mailbox next to the door. Martin. This was her house. Or had been. A porch light came on next door. An elderly man stepped out. Bathrobe. Suspicious expression. Help you? I'm sorry, I'm looking for Debbie Martin. Does she live here? The man's expression changed. Softened, became sad. Debbie passed away. 3 years ago. The world tilted. 3 years. She'd been dead for 3 years. She was my babysitter. When I was a kid. A long time ago. Ah. The man nodded. She talked about the kids she used to watch. Loved them. Kept photos. Talked about them like they were her own grandkids. She's really dead? Yes, I'm sorry. Were you close? I hadn't seen her in almost 30 years. I wanted to say thank you for being kind to me. She would have liked that. She was a good woman. Does anyone live here now? No. House has been empty since she passed. Her kids are trying to sell it. Market's slow, though. Right. Okay, thank you. The man went back inside. I stood there on the porch, holding the guitar pick, looked at the dark windows, the for sale sign. Thank you, I whispered to the empty house, for everything. I walked back to my car, got in, checked the Uber app. The ride to 1156 South River Drive wasn't in my history. No record of picking up D. Martin. No record of the trip, like it had never happened. But I was holding the guitar pick. Physical, real, solid, proof of something. I drove home as the sun started to rise. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. I sat on my bed, staring at the guitar pick, turning it over and over in my hands. For Anthony. Keep playing. Debbie. The sun came up, light filled my small apartment. I called in sick to the warehouse, first time in 5 years. Then I got down on my knees, reached under my bed, pulled out the case, black, dusty. I'd pushed it far back, out of sight. I opened it, my Gibson acoustic. Beautiful, neglected, covered in a thin layer of dust. I lifted it out, held it. The weight familiar. The shape fitting against my body like it had never left. I found a cloth, wiped the dust away, gently, carefully. Then I tuned it. My fingers remembered. Muscle memory. Each string adjusted until it was perfect. I sat on my bed, guitar on my lap, strummed once. The sound filled my apartment. Rich, warm, alive. God, I'd missed that sound. I played. Just chords at first. Progressions. Things my fingers remembered without conscious thought. Then I started playing something else. A melody. Old. From when I was 7 years old. Right after Debbie gave me that red toy guitar. I'd never played it for anyone, but I'd never forgotten it either. I played it now, developed it, added complexity, layers, the sophistication of someone who'd lived, who'd struggled, who'd lost things, but keeping that core, that joy, that innocence of a kid who'd just discovered magic. It was beautiful. When I finished, tears were streaming down my face. I looked at the guitar pick on my bedside table, at the faded writing. Keep playing. Okay, I whispered. Okay, I will. I played for 8 hours that day, until my fingers hurt, until my voice was raspy, until I'd written 3 new songs and remembered 10 old ones. My phone rang around 6 p.m. I almost didn't answer, didn't recognize the number, but something made me pick up. Hello? Anthony Fisher? Yeah? My name is Samantha Gardner. I'm the manager at the Blue Room. It's a venue downtown, you know it? Yeah. I've been there. Years ago. Kevin Cross gave me your number. He said you two used to play together. My heart stopped. Kevin? Yeah. He said you're one of the most talented songwriters he's ever worked with. We're doing a songwriter showcase next month. December 15th. Open mic style, but we're inviting specific people. Would you be interested? I looked at my guitar. At the pick. Yeah. Yes, I'm interested. Fantastic. I'll email you the details. Bring 3 songs, original material. Acoustic is fine. Okay. Great. Looking forward to hearing you. She hung up. I stared at my phone. Kevin, my old bassist, the one I'd been jealous of this morning. He'd thought of me, recommended me, given me a chance. I texted him, "Man, thank you. I don't know what to say." Response came immediately. "You never should have stopped, Anthony. You're too good, and I've been where you are. It's not too late. Welcome back." I read that text 5 times. It's not too late. Welcome back. I picked up my guitar, and I played until the sun came up again. December 15th, the Blue Room, 7 p.m. I arrived early, guitar case in hand, nerves making my hands shake. The venue was small, maybe 100 seats, stage at one end, bar at the other, string lights, warm atmosphere. People were already arriving, other performers, audience members, staff setting up. I found Samantha, mid-30s, friendly, professional. "Anthony?" "Yeah, hi. Great to meet you. Kevin has told me so much about you. You're on around 8. That work?" "Perfect." "Nervous?" "Terrified." She laughed. "You'll be great." I found a corner, sat down, tuned my guitar for the 5th time. Around 7:30, the showcase started. 5 performers before me, all good. Some great. Singer-songwriter stuff, acoustic, intimate, honest. The audience was respectful, attentive. They actually listened. Then Sarah was introducing me. "Our next performer is Anthony Fisher. He's been away from music for a while, but we're thrilled to have him back. Please welcome Anthony." Applause. Polite. Warm. I walked onto the stage, sat on the stool, adjusted the mic, settled my guitar, looked out at the audience. 50, maybe 60 people, more than I'd played for in years. I saw Kevin in the back. He'd come. He gave me a thumbs up. I took a breath. "Hi, I'm Anthony. I haven't done this in a while, so bear with me." A few encouraging laughs. This first song, I wrote it when I was 7 years old. Never finished it until recently. It's called The Bird. It's about flying and freedom. I started playing the melody from my childhood, the one I played on that red toy guitar, but grown up now. Sophisticated. With lyrics I'd written 3 weeks ago. About feeling trapped. About forgetting your wings. About one moment, one person, reminding you that you can still fly. I sang. My voice rough at first, then settling, finding its place. The room was quiet. People listening. Really listening. When I finished, there was a pause. That moment of silence before applause. Then it came, loud, genuine, people standing, my eyes filled with tears. I played 2 more songs, both new, both honest. The audience stayed with me, every note, every word. When I finished, I stood, bowed, walked off stage on shaking legs. Samantha caught me backstage. That was incredible. "Anthony, seriously, do you have recordings?" No, not yet." "Make them. I know people who'd be interested. Can I give them your number?" Yes, please." "You're coming back next month, right?" "We do this every month." "I'd love that." She handed me a card. "Call me. Let's talk about getting you more gigs." I took the card. Nodded, still processing. After the showcase, people came up to me, asked about my music, wanted to know where they could hear more. I gave them my phone number, my email, promised I'd have recordings soon. Kevin found me as I was packing up. Man, he hugged me. That was beautiful. I knew you still had it. Thank you for the recommendation. I don't know why you did it, but... Are you kidding? You're one of the best writers I know. I thought about you when Samantha asked for names. Looked you up. Saw you were still in the city. Figured it was worth a shot. I gave up, Kevin. For 5 years. Yeah, well, you're back now. That's what matters. That night, I drove home. Guitar in the passenger seat. Stopped at South River Drive on the way. Parked in front of 1156. The house was still dark. Still for sale. I got out. Walked up to the porch. Thank you, I said to the empty night, for seeing me. For reminding me. For giving me back to myself. I turned to walk back to my car. And I swear on everything. I heard it. A voice. Soft. Warm. Familiar. I always knew you could do it, Anthony. From the moment I gave you that guitar. I knew. I spun around. Nothing. Just an empty porch. A dark house. But I felt it. A warmth. Like a hand on my shoulder. Like someone smiling. Thank you, Debbie, I whispered. The wind picked up. Gentle. Carrying something that felt like peace. I drove home. 6 months later, I still drive Uber. But only 3 nights a week now. The other nights, I play. Open mics, small venues, songwriter circles. I'm working on an EP, 5 songs. Kevin is producing it remotely from Seattle. We video chat weekly. Planning a collaboration. Samantha books me regularly at the Blue Room. I have a small following now. People who come specifically to see me. It's not a record deal. It's not fame. It's not a stadium tour. But it's music. It's mine. And I'm happy. Genuinely. Deeply happy. I called my mother last month. First time in over a year. Told her I was playing music again. She was quiet for a moment. Then, I always knew you'd come back to it. You were so talented, Anthony. Even as a little boy. You never said that. I was scared. I didn't want you to struggle. To suffer. To choose a hard path. I understand. But I'm glad you're playing again. Really glad. We talk regularly now. She's coming to visit next month, to see me perform. I asked her about Debbie Martin during one of our calls. Oh, Debbie, she was wonderful. You loved her. She was the only babysitter you never cried for. When did she pass away? Let me think. Must be 3 years now? Maybe 4? Cancer, I think. Very sad. She was always so kind. Did you go to the funeral? No, we'd lost touch by then. I felt terrible about that. She was so good to you when you were small. I didn't tell my mother about that night. She wouldn't understand. Hell, I don't fully understand. But I don't need to. Have you ever had an encounter you couldn't explain? Have you ever met someone who changed your life in a single conversation? Share your thoughts, your unexplainable encounters, and your moments of choosing courage over fear in the comments below. If this story about mysterious passengers, second chances, and finding your way back to yourself moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about impossible encounters, lost dreams, and the courage to try again. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss our next story. Thanks for watching, and we see you in the next one.